NFL draft is still about 2 months out, but we're getting a chance to see a fresh lineup of professional hopefuls at the NFL Combine next week. It will be the players' opportunity to show off their skills and sit down with prospective teams. Now, to break down all you need to know before NFL Draft Day 2020 and the NFL Combine, let's welcome CBSSports.com NFL draft expert Chris Trapasso. Chris, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Chris, every year there are a couple of guys who really break out at the Combine, elevating their draft stock and getting more chatter around them. Who are players that you're looking at this year as potential breakout stars?
Two players, both on the defensive side, and I'll start with Curtis Weaver, the edge rusher from Boise State. Entered the year on the first-round radar and started off his junior season looking like a first-round pick. But he got injured in November and didn't really have that same juice or that explosiveness around the corner off the edge as we saw earlier in his career. He averaged 11 sacks and 16 tackles for loss in his 3-year career at Boise State. Should be close to fully healthy now. I think after the Combine we'll be talking about him as a locked first-round pick. And then at cornerback, Noah Igbinoghene from Auburn, kind of a tongue twister to say, started at wide receiver, and he's got the bloodlines. His mom was actually a bronze medalist, sprinter in the 1992 Olympics, flipped over to cornerback at Auburn, and his film is special. He can really change directions and very fast down the field. He's kind of off the first-round radar now, but I think he's going to run well, broad jump, vertical jump. The entire Combine is going to be really good to him, and he will move onto the first-round radar after the Combine.
On the flip side of things, Chris, there are also some players who don't really test well at the Combine, but end up being serviceable players. Are there any guys that you have your eye on who may not jump off the page but could potentially have an impact in the NFL?
Yeah, instant impact guy at the receiver position, Bryan Edwards. I don't think he's the fastest guy in this really loaded wide receiver class, but has 4 years of quality, consistent production at South Carolina in the SEC. He's listed at 6'3" and 215 pounds, so he is going to be one of the bigger receivers in this draft class, and he just does everything well. He knows how to get open, has a huge catch radius. His run after the catch skills are really impressive for a bigger wide receiver. So he'll be outside the top 10, probably in the 40-yard dash and the vertical, the 3-cone drill. But he's ready to be a contributor in the NFL right now. And on the defensive side, Bradlee Anae, the edge rusher from Utah, just easy to see that he's not super explosive around the corner, but his arsenal of pass rushing moves are arguably the best in the entire class, right up there with Chase Young from Ohio State, who's going to probably be the 2nd overall pick, knows how to defeat blockers at the point of attack. So he's not going to test well. That could push him down in the draft, but don't be surprised when Bradlee Anae from Utah ends up coming in and being an instant impact rookie on the defensive line.
Well, Joe Burrow seems to have really separated himself at the top of the quarterback class, while Tua Tagovailoa, if healthy, is expected to be the number 2 guy. Now, are there any other passers you're looking at this year who have a chance to make a big rise in draft boards due to their performance, maybe in both throwing drills and the interview process with teams?
Yeah, it's got to be Jordan Love from Utah State. I mean, we know a lot about Justin Herbert at Oregon. I think teams really like him. He's big, he's experienced, he's athletic. But Jordan Love has some stylistic comparison to Patrick Mahomes. He can make some crazy throws on the run, has a very strong arm. I think the throwing session is going to be really good for him. And he can explain to teams that his sophomore year, when he threw 32 touchdowns with only 6 interceptions, after that he lost a lot of talent to the NFL, did not really have a great final season at Utah State. But the athleticism, the arm talent, and just the ability to flick the football from any platform, I think Jordan Love is the guy that we're going to be talking about consensus rising up draft boards after the Combine.
And finally, Chris, what other storylines are you watching as the Combine gets ready to kick off this NFL offseason?
Yeah, just how fast this wide receiver class is. I mean, we've talked about how loaded and stacked it is from the top and all of its depth. Last year, there were a ton of wide receivers that ran under 4.4, 7 of them, and 11 more ran inside the 4.4s. So I want to see if the likes of Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb and some of these other top wide receivers prove to be as fast as last year's group, because usually the really fast wide receivers end up going in the first round. So we've heard so much about how good this receiver class is. The combine, I want to see how fast collectively these wide receivers are.
That'll be exciting to see so many guys in that 4.4 range. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Chris. The NFL Combine, by the way, starts Sunday, February 23rd. Katie Johnston for CBS Local Sports.